biomolecules. Hoefnagel mentions in the textbook that there are 4 main types of biomolecules, and these are carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acid. And each of them have their own set of functions and come together as the majority of the mass of a cell. So, if you ask the Amoeba sisters on YouTube in their biomolecules video, updated in 2023, at approximately 20 seconds into the intro, they mention how biomolecules are also known as macromolecules. I want to mention that there are these things called monomers, which are the building blocks of each of these macromolecules. I'll mention each macromolecule's building block if it has one. So let's start with carbohydrates. According to Holesh and others, carbohydrates are an energy source for the human body and also act as a stabilizer for blood glucose and insulin levels. The structures of a carbohydrate are made up of monosaccharides, which is 1 sugar, disaccharides, which is 2 sugars, oligosaccharides, and polysaccharides. And they all look a little something like this. Hopefully you can see. It might be reversed. So, there are several types of carbohydrates, including simple and complex ones, and then others include starches and fiber. A great example of a complex carbohydrate, which is 3 or more sugars, is an apple. And then an example of a simple carbohydrate, which is 1 or 2 sugars, is something like candy or soda. Block for carbohydrates is monosaccharides. An example of this being the sugar glucose. And did you know that cell walls of plants are actually made of carbohydrates? Moving forward, I'll be talking about lipids. These are fats and oils such as avocado oil or butter. Steroids, triglycerides, and phospholipids are all examples of lipids. A majority of lipids have a monomer called glycerol and fatty acids, and fun fact, while the other biomolecules dissolve in water, most of our lipids do not. They make up a cell membrane structure known as the phospholipid bilayer, and like carbohydrates, they are related to energy. However, except for making energy, lipids store energy. So they're also helpful in insulation, such as something found in many neurons or on many neurons, the myelin sheath, which is also made of lipids. Lipids help conserve heat, so think of like the blubber on a seal. And lipids form ester bonds and are made up of a hydrocarbon chain, like linked up with a glycerol molecule. And they look something like this. Third, let's talk about proteins. Some popular places to find proteins are eggs and meats. It is made up of amino acid, which is the monomer or building block, and proteins make up a large amount of enzymes and a large amount of muscles. So several genes also code for protein because it serves as a structural support. So think like collagen, and then it also transports other molecules, and it participates in immune responses. If you ask the University of Vermont and their levels of protein organization, a protein is made up of several structures. So the primary structure of a protein is the sequence of the amino acid of the polypeptide chain. The spatial arrangement of the polypeptide's backbone is the secondary structure. And finally, the third structure is the entire polypeptide chain. And protein looks something like this. Depending on the kind of protein, there might also be a fourth structure. And finally, let's go over nucleic acids. 2 popular examples that you probably already know of nucleic acids are DNA and RNA. So the monomer of nucleic acid is pretty easy to remember because it sounds like nucleic acid is nucleotides. And fun fact, DNA and RNA are found in your food. So anything that was alive or is a living organism has DNA or RNA or both. because nucleic acids are inside of our genetic information, and this is needed to code our traits. They carry the majority of the load of genetic information inside living organisms, and they also store information and transport molecules. A nucleic acid structure looks like a 5-carbon sugar and phosphate group attached to a chain of nucleotides. So this is what a nucleic acid may look like. Hope that you learned something new or had a good refresh, and thanks for watching.